Today's episode, I'm going to be speaking about initial symptoms or issues with multiple sclerosis. Either you're just newly diagnosed or you're under investigation for multiple sclerosis. Uh, it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of looking online at issues and symptoms. I know I've done it myself. That's what I'm going to speak about today. Is a few instances that I've had. Let you know that you're not alone. These things can happen to us all. I'm sure there's a lot more people doing the same thing. And essentially, it's like light bulb moments. You start looking online, reading these issues, and some of them will kind of like bing in your head, and you'll go back to a memory from years ago of some issue that you've had, and then you start thinking, well, surely that's not anything to do with what I'm going through now because this is all new. There is potential there for it to be multiple sclerosis. It's not definitely going to be anything to do with your multiple sclerosis, but it can linger with you from long ago, and now it's just rearing its ugly head a lot more. So basically, the earliest memory I have from that is going way back to like my late teens, early 20s. There was mornings where I would wake up and my shoulder would be really sore right down my arm, and it'd be quite weak, and I couldn't lift my elbow past level with my shoulder. I didn't know what it was and thought it would maybe just go away. And I went to the doctors about it. They gave me some naproxen, which is like strong anti-inflammatories. They gave me like a rubber band thing with some exercises to do, stretching my arms out. It didn't really do anything for it, and eventually it would kind of go on its own accord, and then it would kind of fluctuate coming back. It would switch arms, and I had no idea what it was at the time. I thought it was maybe just the way I was sleeping funny or something. But then when I started looking into multiple sclerosis symptoms and issues, I thought, could that potentially be the first thing that I've had since way back? The first sort of sign, I suppose you could say. And it possibly was. There's no way to really tell, unfortunately, so you just have to kind of make your own judgment on these sort of things. And another one for me was when I was 25. I started working away from home with my dad, and we stayed in a house together over where we were working. And I phoned in sick to work one day. I can't remember what kind of story that I gave them, but I don't think I told them the truth at the time, that I was getting kind of numbness and tingling down my left arm. I was a bit concerned, but I thought I'll go to sleep for a few hours, see what happens. If I wake up in a few hours' time and it's gone, happy days. It wasn't really the case. It just continued as the day went on, and it never got better. In the evening, when my dad came home, I decided to come clean and tell him this is what problems I'm having with my arm, and he instantly got into a bit of a panic and thought I'll phone for an ambulance because it sounds like you might be having a stroke. And he did. He phoned for the ambulance, but before they dispatched an ambulance, he got asked a few questions to ask me on the phone, like kind of over the phone exercises, I suppose you could say. And the first one was to lift my arms evenly above my head, like that, which I done fine, and they were happy with that. The other one was like a speech test. They asked me to say the early bird catches the worm, nice and loud and clear, to see if I had any sort of slurring in my words, which I didn't. So they were quite happy. to say, I don't think you're having a stroke, but you should probably go to the doctors and have a look at this. So I done that. About a day, maybe 2 days later, I went to the doctors. They done a few different exercise things, I can't remember what they were, and they took blood samples to send away for testing, and I remember counting about 7 or 8 vials of blood at the time, which was it seemed like quite a lot to me. But anyway, I went home that day. Kind of a day or two later, it was okay again. There was no more issue with my arm. It gone, and I forgot all about it. I just went back to my work, gone with day to day life. And everything was normal. And then about 2 weeks later, I got a letter through from the hospital saying to do with my blood test results, they would like me to make a neurology appointment, phone them and make a neurology appointment to say, do more testing to investigate further into what the issue could be. And at the time, I didn't actually know what neurology was. So I googled it on my phone, and it scared me, to be honest, finding out what neurology was for. Stupidly, I didn't make an appointment with the hospital. I really regret that. I wish I did. I wouldn't advise anyone to do what I done. Absolutely not. It's the wrong way to go about things. Because I left it, I forgot about it, and I thought, well, maybe I'm fine now anyway, and it'll all go away. But it's not really what happened, obviously, because I'm now diagnosed with multiple sclerosis years down the line. Yeah, so the reason that I done that, like I jolted back to that story, was because I read online that years ago, when multiple sclerosis wasn't too well known about, people used to get misdiagnosed with having strokes. And it just instantly pinged back in my memory, oh, I wonder if that's something to do with it. And obviously, yet again, the answer is it possibly was. No one will know for sure, but it's quite likely, I suppose, that it probably was something to do with my multiple sclerosis. But years before I really even knew what multiple sclerosis was, I didn't even know what neurology was at the time. So, yeah, that was a bit of a revelation, I suppose you could say. And I just wanted to make this video because I know there'll be other people in the situation that I was back then, seeing this and thinking, oh, I wonder if this could be to do with multiple sclerosis. Here's your answer, and it happens to other people as well. So you're not alone out there. I know there was a time where I felt quite lonely with it, and it wasn't the best of moments, I suppose. But here I am now. I'm trying to get this information out to you guys and hopefully get some feedback from you. So if you find you've got something from this episode, then feel free to comment or like and subscribe. I'm doing a whole channel about this. So my next episode I'll be talking about whether I'm when I was in investigation for multiple sclerosis, the process that I went through, everything that happened to me, and just kind of try to go into detail about it a bit and let people know that it's not the end of the world and it's not the end of the road by any means at all. So yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.